Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Yay, thank you so much for joining. So happy to be here with you. Thank you. Feel free to write with me if you're on live with me on WebinarJam. You can send me a message on chat. You can also raise your hand to be made a presenter with me and come on. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. You won't automatically be on camera if you come on with me. You would have to turn that on. So don't let that make you shy, okay? Thank you. I love you. Also, I don't know who's on with me. That's a little bit interesting. So if you're here, say hi to me. I don't see your names like I did before unless you raise your hand or say something to me on chat. Okay? Thank you. So to get started, I have a couple of notes here. People have been asking me about some different things. Ooh, it looks like I need to update this too. We'll just start out with, there was a post that I had, and it was, making any body into a sexual object puts limits on pleasure while secretly producing pain. And one of my friends said she just didn't follow that. So if you're on today and you'd like to dialogue with me, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll see if I can expand on that a little bit for you. So basically, bodies are like props on the screen of consciousness. They're like props on the screen of consciousness. They arise in the perception, and the perception is basically a form for awakening. If you make any of those objects in the field into something that's capable of giving you pleasure, that puts limits on pleasure for you. And that's because the pleasure that you perceive comes from you. Okay? Pleasure is basically let's say it's a reflection of joy. It's a reflection of joy. You can experience as much pleasure as you allow. Okay? You can experience as much pleasure as you allow. And that's based on how worthy you find yourself to be. How worthy you find yourself to be. Remember, the field of experience is reflecting. It's reflecting. So you may find that you are automatically projecting. You may automatically be projecting like, oh, that could give me a lot of pleasure. Oh, yeah, that could give me a lot of pleasure. All there is to do in a situation like that, and it's not even really a doing like you would might assume, is just notice that it's coming from you. It has nothing to do with that object. Because as soon as you buy into the belief that it is about that thing in your perception, you're limited. You're limiting yourself with thought, okay, to how much pleasure you can experience. Okay, that's part of it. The other part is secretly producing pain. While secretly producing pain, let's look at it again. Making any body into a sexual object puts limits on pleasure while secretly producing pain. So see, underneath the surface, oh, that's what I need. That's it. That's what I need. It's attachment. And attachment is always a setup for suffering. Okay? So it would produce some kind of pain. Let me give you an example. One example is making your own body into a sexual object. Okay? I've seen that so many times. Oh, this is it. This is what I need to have this pleasure. This is what I need. And oh, look at me. Look at this. Come and get this. And this is more of a mental thing than anything else, okay? It's more of a mental thing than anything else. You watch your thoughts, you see these thoughts playing out, okay? It builds attachment in the body and for the body. It always leads to its opposite, okay? It makes it seem as if that thing isn't present, if that thing isn't available in that form even, then the pleasure isn't available. Okay? And that's not how it is, because pleasure is such a reflection. And it comes from you. It's whatever you can allow for yourself. And it all has in the mind. It's all on the level of mind. You don't have to have anything, okay? If you think you have to have any particular thing, then you don't get to experience the kind of pleasure that deepens and deepens and deepens. It only stays so surface. It only stays so surface for you, and also lead to pain, see? Food, sex, I don't know, swimming in the ocean, whatever it is. It's not really there like that. It's coming from your mind. These things come and go. They just come and go. And when there's no attachment to it, when there's no attachment to the pleasure, or there's not making it into, this is what I need for it, then it can deepen, okay? And it won't set you up for the opposite. See, this illusion is an illusion of opposites. So whatever you use to convince yourself that it got it for you, it's a setup for the exact opposite. But who you are is pure joy with no opposite. So that means even in this can continue to expand. Okay? A lot of people I hear live in, a past experience of pleasure. Oh yeah, it was so good when it was like that. See? And that's just all mental. That's putting it into some kind of perspective. Maybe when my body was this way, oh, it was so like that. Or when my body was healthy, it's another one. It was so pleasurable. I had so much fun. It was so good. Life was so good. And the thing is, it's awakening that makes it better and better. And it's awakening that makes it more and more pleasurable as you proceed. Not anything else. Not anything else. So when you make it about something, there's got to be a stopping point. There's going to be a limit. Your mind will set the limits. Got to remember that your mind is all powerful here in everything that you experience. Okay? Thank you. I see what you're writing to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let me know if I answered your question. I see you're on here. Thank you, Lori. Let me know if I answered your question. If not, you can follow up with a chat. I see your chats. Or you can raise your hand. And now if you raise your hand, you could be on camera with me if you like. Okay, so to the next one. My friend Anastasia. I don't know if you're on here with me today, but I know you always watch. So basically, who you are is beyond the abode of the mind. Yes, that's for sure. Ooh, someone raised their hand. Ooh, my first one. How fun. Okay, I'm bringing you on. So now I accepted you. So I guess you turn on your mic and camera and then you come on with me. We'll see how that works. So basically who you are is beyond the abode of mind. Yes. And then she asked, and the real world is just another fantasy of the mind? Okay, that's a really good question, because before I made a post on Facebook, and if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Hope Akaya Johnson. That's spelled ACHAIA. I made a post about how the real world and the dream world, they're both illusions, but the real world is an extension of who you are, while the dream world is a projection of who you think you are. So the dream world is a projection. The real world is not a fantasy because it's an extension of love. It's an extension of your joy. That's why it's called the real world. It's an extension of you. And nothing is born and nothing dies. The illusion, even the illusions you make, they last forever. They last forever. They may not be in your experience in every instant. But say you make a illusion of a home. Doesn't deteriorate, doesn't need any maintenance. No storm is going to come and blow it down. No lava is going to come and run it over. So there's the difference is that everything that you make in the dream world, it has a beginning and an end. It ages with time. It deteriorates with time. That's another thing. There's time. See? That's something made up. And you can say that's just a container. That's just a container for the make-believe happenings. And the make-believe happenings are just a form for awakening. Is art a projection? So here's the thing. Everything that you can perceive in this world is a projection. Okay? Everything that you can perceive is a projection. The only thing real is the love that we share. The love that we share. See? You can even take an essential oil, okay? You can take I have an essential oil right here, wisdom and stillness. Wisdom and stillness. One of my favorites, okay? Everything about it. Everything about it. The liquid. Now how you know? Because it goes away. It goes away, right? Doesn't last. The love that's shared through it, this is a being. essential oils of being, just like you and me. The love that's shared through it, it lasts forever. Okay? That's the difference. That's the difference. So you could say when art is coming from you, that's an extension of love. That lasts forever. The art piece, it passes. The piece passes. What you see, what you perceive. Everything that's an extension of love, it's preserved for you. Everything that's an extension of love, it's preserved for you in the real world. So you might say that your art is still there. It's not in the form that you perceive through these eyes, though. It's not like that. It's light. It's pure light, even through the ears, music. Okay? It's a different form that you know. It's a form that lasts forever. It's a form that you can call upon at any time. It's not outside of yourself. See? The way we perceive in the dream world is that things are outside of ourselves. They're not. Does it mean that art is not beautiful? Yes, it is. Plants are also beautiful. Plants are also beautiful. And in the dream world, they have cycles, yeah? They're born. They turn brown at a certain time. You know, they bloom, and they turn brown, and they die. That's not normal. That's not normal. Okay, we made that up. Aloha, thank you. I see everything you guys are writing. I appreciate you. Oh, the plant is also still there. You can even say the home is also still preserved in the form that's unlimited. Okay? The gardens, the art, the bodies, everything. It's preserved in a form that's not limited, that doesn't pass away. Nothing passes away. Okay? So this world is a fantasy world. And you know what? And you know what the fantasy is? You know what the fantasy that it's based on? The fantasy is that guilt is real. That's why things don't last. The fantasy that guilt is a reality. Okay? Everything that's erected in this world is based on that fantasy. So, what's it for? Once again, what is it for? Do you know what it's for? It's no problem. Okay? If you recognize what it's for, it's no problem. Lori says guilt feels awful. Yeah. I know that. And you know, everyone feels awful about believing that this is it. You know, most people try to paint a pretty picture about it, make themselves feel better. But, you know, it feels awful to believe that this is it, like this is life. This is it. But that's not the truth. The truth is that you are life. You are life. And the reaction to whatever you perceive here is your opportunity to claim the truth. That's the whole reason, that's the whole purpose. You made up illusions so that you can claim the truth. Because without this world, without this dream world, there would just be suffering forever and ever and ever. Suffering forever and ever because of the belief that guilt is possible, because of the belief that you separated yourself from your creator. Okay? But being able to have perception, to experience perception in a dream world, gives you the opportunity to see through it. give you the opportunity to purify your mind. Okay, it gets purified through feeling. Purified through feeling. Most people don't know, most people don't recognize that this is a feeling experience. It's energetic, totally energetic. Whatever happens on the surface of things, whatever happens, it does not matter one bit. It's only the form for awakening. It has a big purpose. It has a huge purpose. That the purpose is for you. The purpose is for you to see through, for you to use the feeling reactions to it to purify your mind. So it's either use the feeling reaction to purify your mind when there's an uncomfortable or even comfortable through attachment sensation, or use it to keep projecting illusions to keep the dream world going. At this point in time, most people are using it to keep the dream world going. This is what upholds the dream world. Projection. That means the feeling comes up and you believe the thoughts about why that feeling. What justifies it. Okay? Even the thought, you can even use the thought, this world is based on guilt to project, to make more and more and more. Oh gosh, oh well. But if you get the feeling, if you let that feeling intensify in your body's energy field, it purifies your mind. So if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling awful, it's okay. It's okay. And if you can't help but project, it's okay. That's part of it. Building it up is part of it. Building up the dream world is part of it. See? You build up the dream world to the point where it seems so real. It seems so real that even when someone comes up and says, hey, you know, this is a dream world, you get defensive and go, don't tell me that. I don't know. That'll make me a narcissist. It's a common one that I hear. Don't tell me it's a dream world. Because if it's just a dream and nothing matters, then you just go around killing people. Well, actually, that happens when people take it real. People take it as real. That's an expression of intense pain. Okay? It's an expression of identification as a body. Defensiveness. It's defensiveness. We act like, oh, I just don't care. I don't care about anything. Psh. Not like that at all. The more you're able to feel your feelings, to feel what's coming up, the more caring you're able to be expressed. Let's put it that way. Because here you're not capable of caring, actually. Okay? That's consciousness. Let's put it that way. Consciousness plays that out. Same thing with pleasure. You're not capable of pleasure. Consciousness is playing that out. Going back to that. Consciousness plays it out. Okay? And it's a reflection of your joy. Pain is a reflection of guilt. Joy is who you are. Guilt is not real. Guilt does not exist. It's upheld by belief, though. It's not really yours. You're not capable of caring. You don't have to try to care. Okay? It all happens from the level of mind. And the mind gets purified when you embody the feeling. Embody the feeling that identifies you as a body amongst other bodies. Embody that feeling, and consciousness takes care of the rest. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to. If you find yourself judging something, get the feeling once again. It's all the same. This world is a fantasy based on guilt. Okay? I had one friend ask me in Wisdom Dialogues in person, kind of when I first started a couple years ago, do you mean to tell me that that shed over there, I'm seeing that shed because of guilt? And I said, yes. How do you know? It's not going to last. It needs to be painted or something. You know, things come up. It gets eaten. It's eaten by, I don't know, termites. That's how you know. It's not like it's a bad thing. It's not like it's a bad thing. You know, people look at it like, oh no, that's terrible if this whole world is based on guilt. Well, the whole world is made to show you what it is, what the effects are of believing yourself to be separate from the Creator. So hooray! And that's how powerful you are. You can make a whole world based on guilt just to learn, just to understand what it means to take yourself as separate and restore your mind to peace. The whole thing is for restoring your mind to perfect peace. Okay? You cannot perceive the real world. Okay? They don't exist in the same place, you could say. They don't exist in the same site. All right? There's no really place, and I've said before that just behind the scenes, just under the surface of this illusory world, this fantasy world, is the real world, totally preserved for you. You've always been creating it. But you can't see it with the same mind that you use to see the fantasy world. You can't see it with the same mind. The mind needs to be purified, and then you can see it. And like I've shared before, this doesn't happen by dying. Okay, it's a very common religious belief that after the body dies, then you're in heaven. No, it's not how it works. You have to claim it here. You can only get there from here. You can only get there from the dream world. Once you go into the death realm, you're not dreaming. You're not dreaming anymore. You don't have perception anymore. You don't have the body sense. It's a lot lighter. But still, there's a nagging guilt, which causes you again and again. And only get there from here. Embodying all of the feelings. Lori said to concretize the me in a body. Yes. Well, and watch how it makes you defensive. Watch how it makes you defensive and uncomfortable, or even comfortable feeling comes up, and there's a rush to defend against it. I kind of sense it as a pushing, almost like building armor around the perimeter of the body. Like building armor. Okay, Anastasia, my love. If you'd like me to elaborate on that more, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm moving on. And Lori, I haven't seen you come on. I don't know how that works yet, but I clicked on your hand and accepted it. You said you had to reload the page, but you're back. All right. So if you want to try it again, raise your hand again. Thank you. Okay, so here's another one. This one's for Lori as well. Lori's on it. On it. Keep trying. Oh, here it is. Okay. I got the hand. I accept the hand. I accepted the hand. Let's see how it happens. Dreams only occur to a mind that thinks against itself. And everyone who finds themselves within a world of limitations is most certainly dreaming. Okay? If you find yourself in a world of limitations, if there's a physical body, if there's physicality, you are dreaming. Admit it. Just admit it. It's easy. It's easy. There's a lot of resistance to it. And this came about because I was having a conversation with a sweet guy who is sure that he's not dreaming, but other people are dreaming. Okay? And here's the thing. As long as you don't admit that you're dreaming, you cannot use the dream to purify your mind. As long as you do not admit that you're dreaming, then you are not able to recognize what's for you. You're not able to recognize what's there for you. You're just painting a picture. You're painting a bigger dream. You could call it a superego. Okay? Because now all these other people are dreaming, but you're the one who's awake, yeah? Just admit that if you're experiencing a physical body and a physical world, you are dreaming. Okay? The dream gets happier, yeah. The dream does get happier as the mind is purified. But still, it is a dream until everything turns to light. And believe me, you'll know when that happens. And everyone else will be with you. There's the other thing. There's the other thing, and I shared this before. They go first. They go first to the real world. That means everyone in your perception, everyone in your perception is in reality first. So if you're perceiving others to be dreaming, can guarantee you you're dreaming. Okay? All of the others that you experience in your perception, people, places, things, they're part of your dream. They're not even really there like that. It's part of your dream. And you are part of theirs. But if you make it as if you're the one awake and everyone else is asleep, then you're blind. You cannot see. You cannot see how to purify the mind. You cannot see what it takes. You're making up more illusions. You're making it last longer. While you are dreaming, you don't stop co-creating in the world without limits. So all the love that you share, all of the love that you share is still, you can say, here in the real world. It's here. But not here in the perceived world. It's in the real world. It's preserved for you. When you're fully allowing it for yourself, when you're fully deserving of it in your own mind only, because you've always been deserving. When in your mind you're fully deserving of it, then you'll have it. Okay? It's not going anywhere. It's totally preserved for you. And here's the thing. While you value dreaming over creating, value, it's value. See? That's what the projecting is. I wish for this. I wish for this. I wish for this experience. See? It's saying, I value dreaming. Oh, if only it wasn't like that. If only he could be nicer. Wow, that person's really poor. Or, oh my God, they're not in their right mind. All of these things, it's so funny. All of these things are getting a feeling reaction out of you. They're getting a feeling reaction. And that feeling reaction is for purifying your mind. But it's so easy to miss it because it seems like it's real. In healing for a lot of people, it's as if something needs to be healed. See? As long as something needs to be healed, it's perpetuating it. True healing is looking past the error. The error is in your perception. So if I perceive a person and maybe, I don't know, let's say they have a gash on their arm. And they have a gash right there. Say they have a gash on their arm. And you go, okay, I'm going to heal that gash. There's a gash there on the arm. And I'm not talking about on the physical playing field, let's say. That's consciousness doing everything, whether you're putting maybe some essential oil on it or a bandage or something. That's all consciousness. Okay? But you, in your mind, the healing comes from the mind. And healing can be instantaneous if it's seen. Healing can be instantaneous. That is an error in the mind. It's not really there. It isn't there. It's like you and them are agreeing that this is real. And it's mental. So it's a matter of seeing past the error. Working on it from the mind. How is that? How is that approached? There's a reaction to believing that it's real. There's a reaction to believing that it's real. So in the moment when it's seen, oh my goodness, oh. That reaction, allow it to be there, noticing that that's what it is. That's what it's for. It's for getting that reaction. And then the projecting stops. So even if you find yourself, maybe you're a doctor and you're stitching it. Maybe you're stitching it up. Even if you find yourself stitching it up, through that experience, the mind is being purified, which means less and less, fewer and fewer experiences like this, and also leading to that final moment where there's no need for anything else physical. Okay? Most of what's going on is projecting, so it's making this whole thing go on and on and on. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Our chat is going off. I'm going to try to talk with you. I don't know how it works. Okay. When you click on me, it sends me off the webinar. Oh, that's not cool. Mike, my moderator, what's he saying? After requesting to speak, you will be taken out of the webinar for a moment to become a presenter. You can test your connection, and then you'll be able to join again. Wow, I didn't know that. Maybe we won't be using WebinarJam anymore after this. There's probably a better service than that. It had me download a WebinarJam zip. So I did this, but it's in the trash. It's in the damn trash. Okay, well, awesome, because, there's some kind of a feeling reaction there. Yeah, Lori, I'm guessing that there's some kind of a feeling reaction there, so that's what it's for. It doesn't mean we'll be using WebinarJam for our next webinar. If you can't talk to me, that doesn't work out very well. All right. All right. So basically it doesn't work. Okay, Mike, thank you for pointing that out. Basically it doesn't work for us. Hooray. Glad we found that out. So today, yeah. So for today, we'll just use chat and I'll be talking all by myself unless someone else wants to raise their hand and get on and talk with me. Maybe Mike can do it, our moderator from WebinarJam, to show us that it actually works. That's hilarious. Anyhow. So anyways. Lori, you're so awesome. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. So any kind of feeling reaction to that, there it is. There it is, right there. Any kind of feeling reaction to that, let it intensify in the body. I think some of you saw, I had one video, I think it was maybe like May, I don't know, May something, in a May, where my son came in and he was calling me a bitch, crying and calling me a bitch. I think some of you saw how that went down, where an energy arises, a reaction energy arises in the body, and it's just allowed to expand. And then your actions, they just take care of themselves. They just take care of themselves. You don't really make any of those kinds of decisions for yourself. And that's when you really get into the non-doership. You actually experience yourself not as a doer. You can see that consciousness is doing everything. Consciousness is really doing everything for you. See? Michael, I didn't say it didn't work. She can join. They need to download the plugin for a presenter. Okay, yeah, I know you didn't specifically say it didn't work, but if they're being taken out of the webinar, even momentarily, that doesn't work for us. Okay? That's what was clarified, that doesn't work for us here on Wisdom Dialogues. For someone to have to be taken out of the webinar, even momentarily, because then they don't get to hear what's going on, and that's what they're here for. Okay? Thank you. All right. So, while you value dreaming over creating, you cannot tolerate the fact that the created world exists. Okay? Cannot tolerate it. While you value. So check in with yourself right now. You've heard me talk about the created world. Okay? Check in with yourself and see if you can tolerate the fact that it exists. See if you can sense it for yourself. I mean, don't take my word for it. I'm just giving you a pointer. See if you can sense it for yourself, or if something's coming up and going, oh, that's bullshit. I'm not believing that for a second. Okay? Just check in for a moment. See how that feels. That's how you know whether you value dreaming over creating. Okay? And watch this. That changes from instant to instant. It changes. Something comes up, an energy, and it makes the created world seem impossible. It makes it seem like an impossibility. That's where the kind of responsibility comes in, the true responsibility, where you're open to seeing. Do you value creating over dreaming? It's up to you to keep on claiming that. Okay? And It's only because of valuing dreaming that you don't know the real world. You know, that you don't know that it exists. You don't know of its existence. I know in my experience, like as there's more and more of an opening, a willingness, a let me see kind of expression, okay? Let me see. The real world becomes more and more real in my mind, and it's all in the mind. The mind is all powerful. You might say, it's all in your mind, Hope. Yes, it is. It's all in my mind. There's no other place. Okay? What happened for most people is the real world has been so blocked out that it seems like only dreaming is real. And there's this desire for more and more dreams. Wanting, wishing in the future. And really, it's all right now. It's all right now. All of the beauty is arising through the body's energy field. All of the beauty that you can perceive in the dream world is you. It's a reflection of who you are. Everything that you find beautiful and lovely in the dream world, that's a reflection of who you are. A reflection. It's not who you are. It's a reflection of who you are. Everything that you find ugly and nasty and bad, it's a reflection of guilt. Okay? It's a reflection of guilty consciousness. While you value dreaming over creating, wishing over creating, wanting, you cannot tolerate the fact that the created world exists. And it's for this reason alone that you do not know it. That's why for a lot of people, you know, when they hear me talk about it, they're like, what? What? And then for others, it's like, oh yeah, I feel that. I know what you mean. It's not in the words. When you know, you know. Keep claiming it and you'll know it more. The more you claim it, the more you know it. That's how the mind works. Isn't that for fun? Once you find out that you only value dreaming because of believing that there is no alternative to dreaming, and this goes, you know, this goes for a whole lot of spirituality, you know, other than the kind of spirituality that has to do with that they all believe in a different world, right? They all believe in another world. They just believe you get there by the physical body dying and being a believer, right? So then there's all these other kind of spirituality, religion type things that say there's nothing else. Okay. So it's kind of like in between those two things. You know, you don't get there from the body dying because it's not in another place. Okay? You're not going to get there from the body dying. And there's definitely, it's not so much like there's something else though. See, that's where they kind of got it right. They say there's nothing else. It's just the void. They kind of got it right because there's not another place. There's not another place. It's still here, you could say. It's still here. It's just that we're perceiving it through eyes of guilt. Let's say like that. It's not like you go somewhere else. When the real world dawns upon you, it's like everything turns to light, including your own body, including your own physical body. And everyone is there with you. No one's missing. No one's missing. Nothing is missing. Okay? It's like it's not like you go somewhere else. It's not like you leave this place and go somewhere else. It's like this place reveals it. It's almost like it opens up and reveals it. How do I know? I just know. Try you again. Okay, Laura, you raise your hand again. That's the only way I can try you. I'll try you anytime. Just raise your hand. All right. So once you find out that you only value dreaming because of believing that there's no alternative to it, you have begun to awaken. You have begun to awaken. Yes. And what stops the, you could say, the religious folk who believe according to what they consider Jesus's words and stuff like that, the way they're looking at it, like the way to heaven is death. What stops the awakening short is that there's not responsibility for this life. And I don't mean responsibility for your own life. I've talked about that a lot. Okay? The idea of your life. Not like that. But responsibility as in whatever reaction is arising in the body's energy field to respond to that and not to the surface thing. Respond to the body's energy field. Consciousness will respond on the surface for you. You just respond to the body's energy field. That's all. Don't avoid it. Don't avoid the reaction. Embrace the reaction. That's all. It's real simple. It's really simple. But there's a lot of defensiveness around it, not wanting to. Until that point, you can only be dreaming of your dream self, awakening within your dream. Okay? So as soon as you accept that the real world, the created world, is your inheritance, and you're claiming it, then you're really awakening. The real world is your inheritance, and you are claiming it. Okay? These ideas of, oh, my life has gotten so much better, so I must be awakening. You know how hard it is? The opposite of that. You know how hard it is? If you haven't experienced it yet, it says you have to download cookies. Okay. Fun. All right. Well, you can always write to me, Lori. I'm seeing everything you're writing. Yeah. I'm seeing everything you're writing. If anyone else wants to try, raise their hand and get on with me, please feel free. Only thing is, you're taken out of the webinar, so apparently you can't hear me a little bit. Good thing I repeat myself a lot. It's so long. I have too much to say. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, I love you. Okay. It's perfect, you know. You know that's perfect. I'm with you and I love you. Aww. I'm feeling with you. And I'm trying to repeat, it's not a bummer. Yeah, it's not. Because, you know, anything that occurs on the screen of consciousness, you know what it's for, and you're with me. You know, this is like a perfect opportunity. This is a perfect opportunity because you're with me right now. And you're feeling like it's a bummer. And I'm feeling that with you. Yeah? And it seems like something went wrong. That's the opportunity to purify the mind. That's what makes it so not a bummer. All of that. Oh, I wanted to talk. I wanted to have this conversation so bad. It didn't happen. It's a whole week. You're saying I don't know what to do, but you know what? That's not relevant, is it? I don't know what to do. It's like, oh. A whole week. Who knows? Maybe I'll pop on sooner just to have conversation with you, Lori. Yes, because you're not the doer. That's right. That's right. So you see how it'll associate you with as the doer and project thoughts as if I'm screwing it up. I can't get it right. Even WebinarJam is screwed up. It is not right. It is not right. It is. It's perfect. It's a perfect form for bringing up a certain feeling reaction. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. That does not mean that WebinarJam will be our webinar host again, webinar provider, whatever. That does not mean that. But in this instant, for this purpose, it serves its purpose. See? And even, you know, as I'm saying that, that's totally up to consciousness. I mean, how do I know? How do I know? Perhaps it'll be like, oh, WebinarJam is your provider again. Probably not, but, you know, still being in don't know. Okay? We find out when consciousness plays it out. Same thing with people. Consciousness. You know, sometimes my response to a judgmental perception, say having the perception of someone being judgmental, one day my response to that might be, oh, no, thank you, and just go the other way. Another day my response to that might be, hey, what are you thinking? I noticed that energy. What is it? Don't know. But see, consciousness knows exactly how to play everything out. Perfectly. Perfectly. And consciousness already knows all of your preferences. Everything gets played out perfectly. Just keep on going to the root of everything. The root of everything is the mind. And the first projection is a feeling, totally connected with the feeling. So in allowing that feeling to intensify in the body's energy field, consciousness can work everything out. Consciousness can work everything out. Okay. So, okay. next one I have here. I'm going over last week's Wisdom Dialogues, and I'm wondering, where does pleasure come from? I think we covered that. It's not from anything in the illusion. That's it. You got it. I don't know if you wanted me to elaborate on that more. I know you said you had a bunch to talk about. Yesterday was a very pleasurable day. Today, much more low key, not sure why. So, okay, perfect. Perfect. Don't look for the reason. Don't look for the reason like that, because it's not a surface thing. Just experience whatever it is that's being experienced. Less pleasure, low key, as you describe it, is also a feeling reaction. Let that be. Okay? Let that be. Here, I have a really good idea. I'm going to do this. Because I haven't actually canceled GoToWebinar yet. I was thinking I could get something a little bit more powerful than GoToWebinar, but apparently for us, GoToWebinar works so much better. So I'm just going to make a webinar right now, and I'll give you guys the link to it. I'm going to be off of YouTube Live, but that's okay. Maybe we'll be back on YouTube Live next week. One session right now, let's say it's at 4:06 p.m. Schedule. Oh, start time is passed. Okay. 4:10. It'll still let us on there. Schedule. Here's our link. And here's the chat room. Type your message to everybody. There you go. Copy that link. It's going to make you register. And we will continue. So for now, this session that we have on YouTube, this session is ending. So everyone go ahead and copy that link and meet me over on GoToWebinar. You're going to register with your email address. It's going to send you a link, and you can meet me over there, and people can come on with me and have a conversation, because this is called Wisdom Dialogues, not Wisdom Monologue. And who knows, maybe I'll hook up with another service like Zoom or something like that, and next week we'll be over there on, if it works that way, next week we'll be over there on YouTube Live. If not, these end up on YouTube anyways, you know. GoToWebinar also records them. So I'll see everybody over there. Everyone who wants to join, yay. Thank you. I love you. I'm leaving this up for people who want to copy that link, okay? And I'm going to take my camera off and go over to GoToWebinar now. Mahalo. I love you.